Good afternoon, I'm Harold Green.
I'm Christine London. This is Eyewitness News.
In the headlines on this Tuesday afternoon, the commission report on the Rodney King beating recommends that Police Chief Daryl Gates step aside.
Anti-abortionists hold a rally to keep the abortion pill out of Los Angeles County.
Protesters may have stopped the wedding between a rapist and the teenager who's having his baby.
Plus, Hollywood remembers actor James Franciscus and his 33-year television career.
Number 1 in Southern California, Channel 7 KABC TV, Los Angeles. Now, Harold Green, Christine Lund, Dallas Raines, weather, and Todd Donahoe, sports. When news happens, you see it happen on Eyewitness News at 4.
The long wait is finally over. After months of speculation, the independent commission investigating charges of racism and violence within the Los Angeles Police Department finally released its report today. A report that recommends Daryl Gates step down as chief of police. Actually, it says step aside. Known as the Christopher Commission, the 10-member panel appointed by Gates and Mayor Bradley was set up following the March 3rd police beating of black motorist Rodney King. And now, after its 3-month probe, the commission's findings were handed over to the mayor today. Findings that are both shocking and blunt. Among the conclusion, the commission found clear evidence of racism and brutality within the force, recommending that both Chief Gates and the Civilian Police Commission be replaced. Chris.
Okay, Harold, a detailed look we're going to take right now at some of the key findings of the commission. Chairman Warren Christopher, the whole panel. Linda Breakstone's been watching this from the very beginning. She's here with us now to sort it out for us.
Chris and Harold, I think this surprised nearly everyone. The changes were really sweeping. They not only want Chief Gates out, but they want an entirely new police commission. Mayor Bradley, who appointed the majority of the Christopher Commission, is the only one to escape unscathed. Chief Gates has been in too long, said the Christopher Commission, and the current police commission has been tainted by the last 4 months of controversy. So this is their solution. The police chief remains only to help pick a successor. A new chief can serve only 2 5-year terms, and the 5-member police commission should be replaced.
We have found that the police department has failed to use the management tools available to monitor and control the excessive use of force by this problem group of officers. For example, the department has failed to monitor the patrol car transmissions, and it has failed to make effective use of the complaint data and the use of force data, all of which was readily available to the department in its own computerized data bank.
So the commission also made these recommendations. The police commission staff should be headed by a civilian, not an officer. Brutality complaints should go to the police commission, not individual police stations. Brutality complaints should be investigated by internal affairs, not police stations. Christopher wants his 10-member panel to reconvene in 6 months to check the progress of his recommendations. For one thing, he wants the person in charge of the department to make a tangible change to stop the pattern of racism found in the 8,300-member LAPD. For example, no minority or ethnic group went unnoticed by the car-to-car computer messages. Here are just a few. Well, just slap that silly broad senseless. How many homosexuals did you give orals to today? Almost got me a Mexican last night, but he dropped the damn gun too quick. But these recommendations come without the force of law. The next and greater challenge for the city leaders whose allegiances are divided between Bradley and Gates is to force the implementation of all of these suggestions. Harold, Kate.
Linda, the mayor right now is, in fact, at City Hall holding a news conference in response to the release of the Christopher Commission's report today. Let's go to him live now and join him in progress.
I acted because I knew an independent, comprehensive investigation was the only way to restore the public's faith in its police. Today, the results of this investigation are in. The Christopher Commission's findings are supported by a wealth of evidence and experts. There can be no dispute. The Christopher Commission's report is profoundly disturbing. The Citizens Commission found a significant number of LAPD officers repeatedly misuse force and persistently ignore the written policies and guidelines of the department. Although problem officers are well known inside the department, management has failed to use its tools to address the significant number of officers who use excessive force. Improper and unacceptable officer attitudes are reflected in hundreds of patrol car transmissions, including scores in which officers talked eagerly about beating suspects. The problem of excessive force is aggravated by racism and bias within the LAPD. Attitudes of prejudice and intolerance are translated into unacceptable behavior in the field and are also directed against minority and female officers. Warren Christopher and his commission have shown with stark words and stacks of evidence the depth of the crisis within the department. But the commission has also provided a roadmap to guide the department out of crisis. Now, we must follow that map. We must have the will to end the infighting, put aside our differences, and join together to turn the commission's recommendations into action. I pledge to do my part to fully implement the commission's solutions. I say to everyone seeking progressive change within the LAPD, work together with us, for the commission has shown that change is possible. And I say to those who would block the road to change, stand aside, or we will leave you behind. For we will not rest until the Christopher Commission has changed the way we police our city. The Police Commission has already begun its work. As the Christopher Commission recommended, the two commissioners identified with the recent controversy over Chief Darrell Gates have today indicated to me that they will submit their resignations to be effective upon the confirmation of their successors. These two commissioners acted today to promote the harmony and healing sought by the Christopher Commission. I hope that Chief Gates, upon further reflection, will also follow the Commission's recommendations. According to the Christopher Commission, Chief Gates should now commence the transition to a new Chief of Police. To accomplish the Christopher Commission's goal, the City Personnel Department and the Police Commission should begin an open nationwide search for the city's next Chief of Police. Today, I have instructed the Police Commission to quickly implement the other Christopher Commission recommendations that are within its jurisdiction. I'm especially pleased that the Christopher Commission recommended that the system of civilian control over the LAPD be enhanced and strengthened. Today, I also ask the City Council to speedily approve the laws needed to implement the other key Commission recommendations. This is no time to tinker with the Commission's solutions or to let political differences block our way. The Commission's recommendations should be adopted as written, without change. For that reason, I today ask Warren Christopher and his Commission to stay on duty. I want the Christopher Commission to be a watchdog over the political process. The Commission's continued presence will help all of us come together to do what must be done. Los Angeles owes Warren Christopher and his Commission a great debt. The beating of Rodney King divided us as never before. Such trying times call for a person of unique ability. In our city's time of need, Warren Christopher is such a person. The work of Mr. Christopher, his commission, and his staff is of the highest quality. I'm proud that the Christopher Commission distinguished itself by extraordinary independence and complete integrity. Most of all, the Commission has given us the chance to come together again, to join hands in the fight for a common cause. Now it is up to us. We must transform the Commission's work into change. I know we can do the job. The people of Los Angeles never lack for talent and energy and the determination to do what is right. Today, with the Christopher Commission's report in hand, we can again do what is right. We can restore the prestige and the morale of thousands of honorable men and women of the LAPD. And we can take a stand for justice and fairness that will once again make Los Angeles a model for the nation. Thank you.
Right, the mayor there reacting to the decision, or the recommendation, we should say, the Warren Christopher report there. And President Carter had something to say about Warren Christopher. We heard the mayor had high praise. What did he say?
In his memoirs, Jimmy Carter said that Warren Christopher was the finest public servant he had ever worked with. And the mayor echoed those sentiments today.
Right. Just heard him. Chief Daryl Gates answered the question everyone has been asking since the report was released, recommending that he step down. And the answer, no. He said, at least for now. Mark Coogan, standing by at Parker Center. Let's go to him with the live news van right now. Mark.
Christine, after 13 years as chief, Chief Gates says he is staying on to implement the Christopher Commission's recommendations. But one recommendation he obviously is ignoring is the one that calls on him to ease into retirement. However, obeying the Christopher Commission's call for a brand new police commission to restore public confidence in that body is the most controversial member of the commission, Melanie Lomax. She is the one who led the charge to suspend Chief Gates, and today, 30 minutes ago, Lomax announced that she is resigning. The chief was in no mood to announce his leaving or the beginning of a period of transition as the commission recommended, not until voters limit a chief's term.
I think that the process of implementing these recommendations should take place, should go forward. And in that period of time, if the people of the city of Los Angeles believe, as the commission believed, that a chief should be restricted to 2 5-year terms, the people will speak. And that will say volumes to me in terms of my having been here for 13 years.
Gates called the report good, but nothing startling. He deplored the racist computer messages revealed, but said they represented only 0.2% of all messages. All told, Daryl Gates will be staying.
I think the emphasis was on the actions of a few and not on the actions of the vast majority of members of this department. And sometimes we look at the very few and the exceptions, and then we make a whole drastic change, and we forget about the vast majority of our people, vast majority of the good folks out there doing the job. And I think to some extent that's been lost here.
But this afternoon at today's Police Commission meeting, Commission Vice President Melanie Lomax, the storm center in the Gates controversy, announced that she was resigning.
I do not wish my continuing presence on the board to be in any way an obstacle to those goals to which I have dedicated my tenure as a police commissioner. I am prepared to make any sacrifice necessary to further those ideals and to promote the healing within the city of Los Angeles, which we all know needs and must take place.
None of the other commissioners resigned or announced publicly that they were resigning. Commissioner Stanley Scheinbaum said he would not resign. Scheinbaum did say that the Christopher Commission report repudiated Daryl Gates' assertion that the Rodney King beating was an aberration. Commissioner Michael Yamaki said that if all commissioners got together and they decided that the public good was best done by a mass resignation, then he would go along with that. As far as whether Chief Gates should lead the charge for reform, Yamaki said he's the chief. That's all there is. Now, with all this I'm going, I'm staying, is the cause of police reform in limbo? According to Commissioner Scheinbaum, no. He said we were in limbo yesterday. Today, with the Christopher Commission report, we have a roadmap to reform. But obviously, it is going to be a long road, and Daryl Gates intends to be around for much of it, although Melanie Lomax is opting out right at the beginning. Reporting live from Parker Center, this is Mark Coogan. Chris Harold, back to you.
Mark, Daryl Gates is 64 next month. It'll be his 65th birthday. He has tenure under the present system of government here in Los Angeles. So as it is, he can stay as long as he wants.
Well, he can. Now, remember he said that he would listen very carefully if the voters agreed to a term limit for a chief of police. In the absence of a special election, you would assume that that election would be next June in the primary, June of '92. So conceivably, he could wait around till then and listen to what the public says. But remember now, he's going for a bigger court of public opinion, if you will. He said on the Michael Jackson radio show and then again last night that he was going to leave if the commission blamed him for the trouble with the LAPD. Now he's saying, let's let the voters decide.
Okay, thanks, Mark, for that. Rodney King, the man whose beating triggered the massive investigation of the LAPD, is pleased with the Christopher Commission report. King's attorney, Steve Larman, says that the report reveals how minority citizens were consistently denied their rights by police. That will help his client's case in court, he says, and he agrees the changes in the department should start at the top.
The office of the chief of police has to be reconstituted along the lines of the Commission's findings and be made more publicly responsive. The Commission's findings that the management tools made available to the police department have not been utilized as most appropriate and correct.
Larman says he and King are satisfied that their case will have helped create a more sensitive and responsive police department here in Los Angeles. A massive indictment of the Los Angeles Police Department. That's how one city councilman characterizes the Christopher Commission report. The report was delivered to the council before it was released to the public this morning. Councilman Zev Yaroslavsky says it shows the department has been totally unaccountable for its actions.
The main message in the Christopher Commission report is that without civilian oversight over your police department can run amok.
The findings presented this morning make it very clear that the evidence of abuse of force, racist tendencies among some officers is blatant, and it clearly plagues our police department.
And Councilman Joel Wax says the report shows a pressing need for every person in the police department to treat all citizens with dignity and respect.
Reaction to the Christopher report, of course, generated predictable pros and cons, a whole new wave of issues for the public to consider. For some of that reaction, Mark Brown is live with the news van. He's at the Sheraton Grand Hotel downtown. We'll go to him right now. Mark.
Christine, Harold, of course, the Sheraton Grand Hotel is where the report was released this morning. This is where community leaders and civil rights leaders gathered to hear the report and to give their first indications to the press of what they thought about the report. What they told me most frequently was that they were pleasantly surprised. They didn't expect the report to go as far as it did. They also said that these are things that they'd been telling people all along, that there was racism in the department and that brutality charges were not punished. They were also very pleased, of course, to hear that Chief Gates might be stepping down, or at least the report called for Chief Gates to step down, but then their hopes were dashed when it appeared that that was not going to be the case. Community leaders, civil rights leaders came here hailing the Christopher Commission report as a victory.
Yeah, I must admit, it's a little, frankly, I didn't think they'd go as far as they did.
There is no way that I think Darrell Gates can get around resigning.
They were wrong. On live television, Chief Darrell Gates said he may step down, but not just yet. The people who'd been celebrating just a few hours earlier couldn't believe it.
So many of the recommendations in the Christopher Commission report are recommendations we made when we testified before the commission.
They went on, of course, to express their disappointment, Ramona Ripston, saying that Chief Gates has essentially let down the department and let down the city that he is supposed to be serving. Danny Bakewell of the Brotherhood Crusade said Chief Gates is displaying arrogance in refusing to step aside. Now, putting aside the issue of Chief Gates, they, of course, are very happy with the results of this report from the Christopher Commission. They hope also that, unlike the McCone Commission report, which, as you may recall, was issued in the wake of the Watts riots in 1965, they hope that this report will be implemented, and they are standing by to hope for that. Reporting live in downtown Los Angeles, I'm Mark Brown. Harold, Christine, back to you.
Okay, Mark, thanks very much. Complex story, far-reaching implications, of course. The Christopher Commission report calling for the retirement of LA Police Chief Darrell Gates and offering a blueprint for reform for the Los Angeles Police Department. We have a lot of reporters in the field. We're going to be bringing you a lot more reaction as the broadcast goes on.
For now, Chris, we'll turn to Officer Steve Padilla of the Highway Patrol for a quick update on the Southlands traffic on this Tuesday afternoon. Hello, Steve.
Thank you, Harold. Good afternoon. A couple of problems out in the Orange County area. We're hearing about a crash on the southbound side of the Long Beach Freeway, just north of Willow. This is blocking the 3 and 4 lanes of traffic. Another collision reported involving 7 cars. This is over on the Santa Ana Freeway, northbound side, just south of the Newport Costa Mesa Freeway. And over on the Pomona Freeway, eastbound side, just east of the Long Beach Freeway. Accident clearing there. 2 vehicles involved in this one. It is now over on the right shoulder. That's your traffic update. Harold, Christine, back to you.
Hey, Steve, thanks a whole lot for that. Still ahead, another shaker in the Southland.
A judge meets in private with attorneys for the Menendez brothers moving forward in the murder case.
The son of motorcycle daredevil Evel Knievel follows in his father's tread marks.
Mike Tyson was just one of the heavyweights at last night's premiere of Boys in the Hood.
Cleaning up a house where a family of pack rats lived in squalor. That story is coming up next. Stay with us. We'll be right back with a lot more news.
There are lots of ways to pick a dentist. Ask a friend, look in the phone book, but what does that really tell you about them? At 1-800-DENTIST, we refer from a select group of dentists, and we have a full profile on each of them. Their education, how many years in practice, what special training they have. And with our dentists, you have the security of knowing that we refer thousands of patients to them every month. So if you need a dentist and you want to make an educated choice, call 1-800-DENTIST today. On April 17, 1991, after conducting an independent evaluation of national weight loss companies, the respected San Francisco Chronicle said this about Jenny Craig. Of the leading national programs, the food rated highest in taste, texture, and appearance. The cost was reasonable. Overall, the program included all the components that contribute to successful weight loss. Thank you, San Francisco Chronicle. Here's more good news. Lose all you want for just a $39.50 service fee. Call 1-800-76-JENNY.
Only one thing strikes fear into every dirty corner.
Oh, no! The Hoover Floor Care Spectacular!
Yes, it's another Hoover Floor Care Spectacular.
Yikes!
The powerful Hoover Elite Upright has brushed edge cleaning on both sides, a dirt-finding headlight, a deluxe easy change top fill bag, and a complete set of attachments, all for just $99. The Hoover Floor Care Spectacular, going on now at Kmart.
I hate this time of year.
Through the ages, we've been drawn to the power of the sun. But on Thursday, the moon takes us on a journey into darkness. The longest visible solar eclipse of this century. Find out how to view it safely, where to go for the best vantage point. What will we see here in Los Angeles? Charmaine Wilkerson explains. The eclipse, today at 5, only on Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
A year ago, Ben was a junkie who slept in the streets. His professor says the change in Ben is a miracle. Ben says it was the Salvation Army. They're both right.
If you watched yesterday's news right here, you probably still remember, couldn't fail to remember, the rat and insect-infested home that we showed you in South Central Los Angeles. Complaints by the neighbors led to this discovery. A grandmother, 2 granddaughters, and a great-grandson living in this filth. Crews from the health department began a massive cleanup today. A health inspector gave us his reaction.
This is probably the worst that I've seen. They're not very common, but we have seen stuff like this before, these type of dwellings.
The great-grandson has not been found. He is reportedly living with relatives. The house on Normandy Avenue will be livable in a few months. People are going to go to work on it, make it better.
Saw the cameraman who just came back from the scene,
Yes.
from that scene, said he has not seen anything like that in Los Angeles in almost 20 years.
And they've seen a lot.
Unbelievable, yeah. In San Bernardino today, a judge changed his mind and will not perform the marriage ceremony for a convicted rapist and his girlfriend. Rapist Trevor Perkins was all set to be married to his girlfriend in the courtroom of Judge John W. Kennedy. Then at midday, 2 of the rape victims waiting to protest the ceremony were told the wedding was off. It's been 16 months since 2 Beverly Hills brothers were taken into custody and charged with the execution-style murders of their wealthy parents. Today, a preliminary hearing for Lyle and Eric Menendez was set for August 12th, where a judge will decide if there's enough evidence to put the pair on trial. The state Supreme Court must still rule on whether to allow an alleged taped confession by the Menendez brothers as evidence. Chris.
Harold, the California Conservation Corps, probably better known to most people simply as the CCC, marked its 15th anniversary today by showing off what it does best, very hard work. This morning, over 200 Corps members were on the job in Redondo Beach. They were installing an irrigation system near the Redondo Beach Pier. The Corps was first organized in 1976, and its aim was, and it still is today, to hire young men and women between the ages of 18 and 23 and to keep them on the job for a full year of outdoor work and emergency assistance. The Corps motto says it all: best, probably hard work, low pay, miserable conditions, and more. And there's a lot of pride behind those words,
sure
too.
is. Next up right here, remembering James Franciscus in Hollywood tonight.
And a fan versus Axl Rose. Pam will have details of that in the first concert since the riot. When we come right back, stay with us.
Thousands of people throughout the country have discovered how to eliminate the pain of supermarket shopping while they serve their families the finest quality foods. The answer? Colorado Prime. Mrs. Towers.
Colorado Prime has made my life so much easier. I work every day, so when I get home, I want to spend time with my family, not standing in some supermarket line.
At Colorado Prime, we deliver to your home only quality cuts of beef, pork, tender veal, fancy seafood, poultry, brand name groceries, vegetables, even dessert.
Colorado Prime delivers most of my shopping needs right to my front door. And because their products are portion controlled, I can eat seafood for my diet, while the children can eat the foods that they love.
Call this toll-free number to find out how you can join the exciting Colorado Prime food program.
And receive this well-built bread maker free with your very first order.
Call now. A Colorado Prime representative is standing by to give you details.
Recently, Healthline magazine compared 16 popular diets. And you know what? Only Nutrisystem got a perfect score. Not Jenny Craig, not Weight Watchers. Only Nutrisystem. What does that mean to you? This is what it means. Now join Nutrisystem. Only $39 for an introductory program. Call 1-800-321-THIN.
Do you know what I am? I'm a dryer hose, or what they call in the home improvement business, a hard-to-find item. Of course, if you shopped at Home Club, I'd be as easy to find as the front door. That's where you'll run into a Home Club helper who'll be happy to tell you where you can find any one of over 25,000 items in their store, including me, Harry the Hose. Home Club, no membership. Everyone gets our lowest prices.
You get chicken, how about sirloin? Grab all the ribs that you can purloin. Be my little barbecue tonight. Any old time, any old weather, we'll start the fire by rubbing up together. Be my little barbecue tonight.
The Black Angus Barbecue Platter. A great deal of steak, chicken, and baby back ribs. Now only $9.95. But get them while they're hot.
Police in Texas put a muzzle on Axel's antics, and a promising South Central LA filmmaker debuts his first movie. Pam Thompson has the story on Hollywood Tonight, but first, some sad news for television viewers.
Sad indeed, Harold. Actor James Franciscus died last night of emphysema. He was 57. Franciscus performed on stage and in film, but he was best known for his roles on television. During his 30-year career, the handsome leading man starred in the series The Naked City, Mr. Novak, and Longstreet. In 1981, Franciscus was cast as John F. Kennedy in the television movie Jacqueline Bouvier Kennedy. Franciscus is survived by his wife and 4 daughters. Well, an injured fan has filed suit against singer Axl Rose, claiming he was assaulted during a riot that erupted at a Guns N' Roses concert last week in Missouri. It was a different story last night in Dallas as police beefed up security for the group's first concert since the riot. Although a late arriving Rose caused fans to wait an extra 2 hours for the band to take the stage, the show did go on without incident. Rose reportedly told fans that last week's melee had been blown out of proportion by the media. Well, last night, there were lots of famous faces in the crowd at the New York premiere for the movie Boys in the Hood. Gregory Hines, Mike Tyson, and Malcolm Jamal Warner of The Cosby Show were among those who turned out. The event was a benefit for the Black Filmmakers Foundation. The movie Boys in the Hood is about 3 young men growing up in South Central L.A.
What's your problem, man? Y'all are brothers. You ain't supposed to be fighting each other.
The boys coming of age in Boys in the Hood are Trey, a good student played by Cuba Gooding Jr. His best friend is Ricky, an aspiring pro football player played by Morris Chestnut. Doughboy is Ricky's half-brother played by rap star Ice Cube.
I was drawn to the movie because it was so real to me, because I grew up in South Central Los Angeles, and you know, this script was like a story of my life, you know what I mean? As far as, you know, not saying that I was any of the characters, but I grew up with these people.
In the movie, Doughboy is a gang member, but the movie concentrates on the struggles within 2 families, not on gang violence.
We don't glamorize it. You know, we show you the life, and then we show you how people deal with it after the fact.
The film also emphasizes the importance of Black men taking on the responsibility of raising their children, especially their sons.
You're my only son, and I'm not gonna lose you to no bully.
The whole population of young Black men that are just being raised by women, and there's something lost there. You know, it's my belief that a woman can't teach a boy how to be a man.
23-year-old director and writer John Singleton grew up in South Central LA. He says this is a black film, but it should ring true for everyone.
Hopefully this film will touch into a certain niche in American consciousness that hasn't been touched on, and it'll blow up.
Well, I'll have more on rapper Ice Cube later this week, and Gary Franklin will review Boys in the Hood tonight on the news at 6, and I give the movie a thumbs up.
Okay, good.
I think Gary does too.
As we understand, this does not promote gang action activity
No.
or any such thing.
It's not a gang movie per se. I mean, you see the gang activity in the movie, but it's about families. It's about people who live there.
And hood stands for neighborhood.
Yes.
And it's about
That's
everybody
right.
somehow holding everything together.
An important
That sounds
message.
like a good.
Thanks, ma'am.
I'm going to turn to Dallas, see if the sun is going to shine on our efforts.
Well,
here.
it was lovely today. It didn't take very long to get back to normal. And also, we'll have the eclipse weather coming up in just a minute.
Time to rise and shine, fun seekers. Southwest Airlines fun fairs are back.
Well, you've waited so long for a fare to get so nice and low now. You really should fly.
Remember what fares were like before Southwest Airlines? Well, our new fun fares are so low now you can fly just for the fun of it.
Along with us, 'cause we got a lot of things to do now. You really should fly. You'll have fun, 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 flying Southwest on a fun fair today. Fun, fun, flying on a fun fair.
Communication's tricky when you're hungry.
Okay, I'll go, but nowhere fancy.
Meaning nowhere expensive.
Well, I want real food.
Meaning the steak and broiled shrimp platter at Sizzler. Fresh cut USDA sirloin, grilled just the way you like it, and plump, succulent shrimp, delicately seasoned and broiled to savory perfection. Steak and broiled shrimp. It's exactly what you're looking for. Sizzler. Buffet, court, and grill. Meaning
everyone satisfied?
Mm-hmm.
Quality. It isn't something that just happens. It's the product of experience. Throughout the real estate industry, one name stands for experience: RE/MAX. Our sales associates average nearly 10 years of experience, some more than 30. So before you buy or sell a home, remember the quality that comes only from experience. Choose RE/MAX.
Selling homes now. RE/MAX experience. What the world needs now.
Jennifer, I want that report by 8 a.m.
Miss Ogden seems we're over our credit limit.
Jen, where exactly is this relationship going?
Needs now is Dove, sweet Dove.
The Dove Bar. Luscious ice cream surrounded by that famous Dove chocolate of chocolates makes it all seem worthwhile. The Dove Bar, a most rewarding chocolate experience.
Dove, sweet Dove.
Some think we do perms. Some think we do cuts. We do it all. At Fantastic Sam's, you can afford to look this good, or this good, or this good. Now's the time for a Perm Plus at Fantastic Sam's. A perm, a cut, and some style. What do you think? You don't need an appointment. We're waiting for you now.
Some Southland residents got a rude wake-up call from Mother Nature. An earthquake jolted the Palm Desert area at about 2 o'clock this morning. Seismologists say it measured 3.3 and was centered about 15 miles south of Palm Desert, but wasn't related to any of the other recent quakes, and there were no reports of injuries or damage. Chris.
Okay, now we're going to have a little eclipse weather, as just promised.
Well, everybody's interested in that. And here in Los Angeles, of course, we're going to see about 69% coverage of the sun, which is enough to make things exciting. Weather-wise, it looks good for us, and across Mexico and across Baja, the weather's looking pretty good too, even though there have been quite a few clouds down there. Let's go out and check our weather cadet today, and it's Carol. Carol called us from down at Mission Viejo. Yesterday, they had some rain down there and over the weekend, but now it's cleared up quite nicely, and some morning low clouds hitting highs in the low 70s. Mission Viejo is a lovely area. Little breeze out of the southwest today. Thank you, Carol. Partly cloudy right now to mostly sunny skies. Temperatures at 74, wind out of the southwest at 13, and the barometer is 29.96. Everything just kind of settling back to where it should be this time of year. 61 this morning, stayed cloudy for 2 or 3 hours, then cleared up. 78 at 2 o'clock. Record for the state, 100 in 1985. There's sunrise and sunset for you right there. Okay, satellite view this afternoon shows all the weather that was in our area yesterday has now moved off to the east. Some thunderstorms just popping up all over from northern sections of Arizona back down into southeastern sections of New Mexico. Here's a weather system headed toward the Pacific Northwest with some clouds and cooler temperatures. And looking toward Hawaii, of course, you know, they'll be able to see the eclipse very well, too. And they have some few tropical clouds coming over, but not very many. Our weather will be dominated by this area of high pressure. And, of course, the circulation around this high pressure is clockwise, and there will be some moisture returning by the middle of the week. Now, look at this. We have some clouds down over central Mexico, but all in all, the cloud cover across the area of total eclipse here is looking pretty good. So these are afternoon thunderstorms, so I don't think there are going to be any major problems for viewing the eclipse from Mexico back across the Baja area, even though there are some widely scattered showers. Boy, have they had some heavy rain up in Nebraska last night. 4 inches of rain at Grand Island, Nebraska. Now, here's our forecast: clear skies, low clouds late, fog late, 62. Tomorrow, clouds will hang around till about 10 o'clock most areas. The beaches, some of the beaches have been cloudy during the afternoon, at least partly cloudy, so that's the thing going on there. Now, Orange County hits 80 tomorrow. Santa Clarita, a nice 91 under clear skies for tomorrow. 5-day outlook, well, as we move toward the weekend, we're going to try to bring more desert thunderstorms into the picture here on Friday and Saturday, and temperatures will stay in the upper 70s to low 80s, so the typical type weather. And of course, we're going to continue to watch the eclipse weather for you right on up to the eclipse on Thursday.
Good deal.
We saw that fog this morning, drove over to the Ken and Barkley show over in La Cienega. Oh, the fog was in there until
It's
about
thick
10
and
this morning.
it hung in there today, and tomorrow, same thing for tomorrow morning.
It's dark at the beach even.
Yeah, I know.
Thanks, Dallas. When
All right.
we come right back, we will update the Christopher Commission's report on the Rodney King beating.
And a page out of history, 500 years later. We'll take a look next up.
This'll sound familiar. You get your period, you ruin your panties. Could be 2 pair a month, right? And you and I think we just have to put up with it. Well, we don't.
Always with Wings. Our unique dry weave top sheet forms wings that wrap around your panties to help stop stains better. Always stays cleaner and drier, even at the sides.
So you can try the wings, or you can just keep buying new panties.
Always with Wings. Cleaner, drier, better.
You'd have been there, you'd have flipped. It was awesome. On TV? No, for real. Whole class went.
Not far from city streets is a wildlife refuge. People from a nearby refinery helped get it started.
Millions of birds, weird animals. Weird animals? Very weird. How come I never got to see this place? Because it's not on TV.
Do people need to create places where city kids can get close to nature? People do.
Jordan drives and misses. Michael throws it away. Jordan falls. This is a nightmare.
You want to be sure of your game. You also want whole grain nutrition. But only one of these cereals has it. Only Wheaties is made with 100% whole grain. So if you want to rest a little easier, better get your whole grain.
You better eat your Wheaties.
On the next Inside Edition, he beat a man to death.
What did you do? I accidentally killed a person.
But due to juror confusion, he served only 5 months.
My thoughts were, oh my gosh, how could we do this?
And nobody could do a thing.
It's very, very difficult to deal with.
Plus, worried about having your car stolen? Here's a way to beat the thieves. Inside Edition. On the inside, it's a whole different story. See Inside Edition at 7, only on Channel 7.
The top of this newscast, of course, we took you live to City Hall where Mayor Bradley gave his official reaction to the Christopher Commission findings. And of course, those findings, a big piece of the puzzle was that they called for the retirement of the police chief. Eyewitness News reporter Linda Moore was there when all of this happened. She is standing by with a news van live from City Hall for this update. We'll go to her now. Linda.
Christine, you know, the mayor said about the entire day now to look over this 260-page report. Just moments ago, he finished his public comments about the report. He was very careful in what he had to say. He had most of his comments typed out. Obviously, he doesn't want to fuel this fire anymore. Although, as everyone knows all along, he has been supporting the move to get Gates out, and this would appear to be a victory for the mayor.
If the worst should happen, and there is no change of heart on the part of the chief, I think that we'll have to look at other means, but I'm not going to try to second guess. I'm prepared to wait for the chief, as I did for the commission, to take another look at what his answer is going to be to their recommendation.
Okay, well, that was the mayor responding to a question. If Gates does not step down or resign, retire, whatever word we're using at this point now, on his own, what the mayor would do. The mayor said right now he doesn't want to think about that. He's going to let Gates come up with his own decision, and then he'll think about other options down the road. Now, also, the report does suggest that perhaps the mayor himself lacked a little bit of leadership over the LAPD and giving the police commission a higher rating than perhaps it deserved. Bradley said that his response to that is simply that he hopes that everybody acts appropriately and everybody takes to heart the suggestions of this Christopher Commission report. And that is the latest live here at the mayor's office. I'm Linda Moore, back to you in the studio.
Linda, thank you. It is a matter of semantics, but the reason we are not using the word resign is because, if you'll recall, it isn't mentioned in the Christopher Commission, and the police chief did in fact say if they asked him to resign, he would step down.
That's right.
But since it wasn't specified, he has chosen not to do that.
That's right. So carefully now they're talking about stepping down is the word that's being used at this point.
Okay. Thanks, Linda. In other news, Supreme Court nominee Clarence Thomas continued to make courtesy calls on Capitol Hill today. This morning, he met with South Carolina Republican Strom Thurmond, a man once regarded as a leading supporter of racial segregation. But it was during their cordial talk that the 43-year-old Thomas chose to answer critics who claim he's turned his back on the civil rights movement. Thomas told reporters that the movement helped him rise from childhood poverty. Senate hearings on the Thomas nomination are expected to begin in early September.
Uneasy in this part of the world, Slovenia and Yugoslavia are fighting again, but so far it is only with words. Today, representatives of the two sides accuse the other of breaking the current peace agreement, a shaky one at that. In neighboring Croatia, in the meantime, sporadic fighting continues between Croatian police and ethnic Serbs who want to remain part of the Serbian-dominated Yugoslav nation. Fighting late yesterday claimed at least 2 lives. So far, Croatia, unlike the other breakaway Republic of Slovenia, has not been involved in a major war with the Federal Republic. But many people fear that local fighting between Croatians and Serbs could still erupt into a major civil war. And again, that so-called peace, very, very unsteady at this point.
Far from being resolved over there. Let's check in with Paul Moyer now to see what's coming up tonight at 5. We have a hunch we know what's at the top.
Yeah, I think you're right, both of you, Harold and Christine. Story, obviously, hearing from Linda Moore there is still breaking. It's a day the city has waited for months. Coming up at 5 o'clock, more reaction to the Christopher Commission recommendations today. Another police beating captured on videotape. This one results in the firing of a police officer. You can see the eclipse right here in the Southland. Charmaine Wilkerson will tell us what we will see in her special report. Little animation there. And a two-faced snake, actually, well, it's not me, it's the snake, and we didn't see it. It's got 2 heads. I've only got 1. We'll show you this rare reptile. Baby Shamu was born at SeaWorld, and Johnny has a puppy that you might want to take home, kind of our animal segment in the news tonight. All that more, and I don't mean Johnny. When we come back at 5 o'clock, Ann and I will join you then with all the news. See you then. Meantime, back to you two.
Okay. I'll take Johnny home. Huh? Lovely guy.
Where's the 2-headed snake? We'll see it at 5.
You rascal. You could have showed us, but you didn't do it. Gotta wait till 5 o'clock.
I didn't do it. Okay.
Okay, now one of the rarest documents in the world that has to do with Christopher Columbus. It has been discovered here in the Southland. Now, this announcement was made today at the Huntington Library in San Marino. The document, written around the year 1600, it is a copy of an original letter from Columbus to his son, which dates back to 1502. Researchers discovered it while looking through rare papers of a Spanish historian. The document will be part of a special exhibit at the library honoring the 500th anniversary of Columbus's discovery, a so-called discovery. Lots of controversy about that still 500 years later. The exhibit runs next year from February through August. Harold.
I think I'll make the trip to see it.
Got it.
Fascinating stuff. Yeah. Steve Fadilla once again with the Southlands freeway situation on a Tuesday. Steve?
Thank you, Harold. Presently, we have units responding to report of a motorcycle accident with injuries out in the number 1 lane of the Ventura Freeway westbound side, right at White Oak Avenue. Over on the Pomona Freeway eastbound, transition to the northbound 605, traffic slowing for a 6-car collision there that's out in the center divider. And on the 91 Freeway westbound, just west of the 605, units on scene clearing an earlier collision. That's now out of the roadway over to the right shoulder. And that's your look at traffic. Harold, Christine?
Okay, Steve, thanks again for that. Next up right here, a new study released today on pregnant women and aspirin.
And the vote is in on abortion pill testing when we come back.
We say no to flimsy. So first of all, we start with a heart of solid brass, which gives Price Pfister faucets every advantage. Solid brass is favored by people in the know, since it's far stronger and lasts longer. Yet our affordability never fails to surprise. So look into and under a Price Pfister, the fabulous faucet with a funny name.
Excuse me, did you know that Silo has top brand electronics and appliances like RCA, Panasonic, and GE?
Yes, I did know that.
Did you know it's the combination of guaranteed low prices, great selection, and quality service that makes the difference at Silo?
Yes, I know that too.
Hey, I bet you didn't know Silo's been serving customers for over 40 years.
Yes, I know about that. I shop at Silo. I know everything about Silo.
Okay, Smarty Pants, name of the manager at the Wichita, Kansas Silo store.
Bert Mullins.
Oh, you do know everything, don't you?
Yes, ask me another one.
Never mind. I won't.
Gotcha, didn't I?
Yeah, you did, yeah.
On April 17, 1991, after conducting an independent evaluation of national weight loss companies, the respected San Francisco Chronicle said this about Jenny Craig. Of the leading national programs, the food rated highest in taste, texture, and appearance. The cost was reasonable. Overall, the program included all the components that contribute to successful weight loss. Thank you, San Francisco Chronicle. Here's more good news. Lose all you want for just a $39.50 service fee. Call 1-800-76-JENNY.
You were raised on rock and roll and 95.5 KLOS. Rockin' Southern California for over 21 years. KLOS with Mark and Brian in the mornings and great rock and roll all day. 95.5 KLOS, Southern California's home of rock and roll.
Would you believe Bob's Original Big Boy Combo and fresh strawberry pie is now just $3.99?
What do I look, stupid?
Believe it or not, it's true.
This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
A new study released today found that aspirin in low doses significantly cuts down the risk of pregnancy-induced high blood pressure, also known as PIH. The Journal of the American Medical Association also reports that aspirin reduces the risk of severe low birth weight among infants. The studies found low-dose aspirin caused no adverse side effects to the mother or the child. So you could chalk up another one for acetylsalicylic acid, if you will. I'd love to say that.
Blue ribbon for saying that one. Emphasis on low dose there, too. Yep. Clearly, people should check with their doctors. LA County Board of Supervisors has endorsed congressional legislation that would lift the FDA ban on the French abortion pill RU486. Joanna Shemina was there today for this emotional debate.
RU486 has one use only, and that is to destroy unborn life.
Today's board debate was emotional, reduced to a verbal battle between pro-life advocates and those pro-choice, all because of this drug, RU486, known as the French abortion pill.
Our researchers cannot be held hostage to political expediency, and that is the issue before you today.
Facing county supervisors today was whether to take an official stand supporting congressional legislation to resume clinical testing of the pill here in the United States. 2 years ago, the FDA suddenly banned its importation under fierce pressure by anti-abortion groups, even though thousands of women in France have attested to its safety to induce non-surgical abortions. The pill was also being tested for its effects in fighting cancer and other diseases. Today, Supervisor Gloria Molina, who introduced the motion to back RU486 testing, was also criticized for betraying her Hispanic and Catholic roots.
You should not make a decision for me, and I'm not making a decision for you. The choice should be that every woman make her own decision, and that's what this is about.
The board voted 4-1 to back her motion. So today's vote will certainly encourage and add steam to those hoping to cause a groundswell of support to get the ban on RU486 lifted. The issue is expected to come before Congress in early August. Joanna Shemina, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Okay, sports is next. Todd will have the latest on tonight's All-Star game.
And the son of Evel Knievel, can he jump tall buildings in a single bound? We will find out in just a second. Stay with us. Be right back.
There's something new at every turn. Every minute, new memories are made. Knott's presents Snoopy's Great American Celebration. At just $9.95 for kids, nowhere else can you get so much for so little.
A small problem. We're gonna need you there tonight.
I can get you on the last flight out. You'll be late, but we'll get you there. Everything's confirmed. All that's left is a suite. I hope you don't mind roughing it.
There are two kinds of travelers in the world. Those who deal with the madness and those who don't have to. Uniglow, we will change the way you travel.
Can you think of a single thing you won't find here in the Pacific Bell Smart Yellow Pages?
Parts for this thing.
Missing manifold, not in here.
It's not in there.
It's not even in here.
It's not even in this town.
Are you sure this mythical cross-ram intake exists?
Oh, there is some in the state.
Well, that's your belief.
You just gotta, there's people you gotta know. I know where a couple of them are, people won't part with them.
Oh, no kidding. Boy. I know, you gotta wait for those guys to die or something.
Exactly, that's what I'm waiting around for. I got plenty of time.
Well, there you are. If you can't find it in Pacific Bell Smart Yellow Pages, you better look in the obituary column.
On the old tasteometer, steak fajitas rated 9. Then along came the steak fajita melt. Broke the needle.
Steak fajitas with melting spicy cheese on grilled sourdough. The new steak fajita melt at Jack in the Box.
Look at these fries. They're all twisted up. I mean, curled up, swirled up, seasoned up, and in a minute, finished up.
New seasoned curly fries. A crispy, tasty new twist on fries at Jack in the Box.
Todd is talking baseball this afternoon.
Talking baseball at the All-Star game tonight, but we're looking at All-Stars 50 years ago because the most extraordinary season, 1941, the two players center stage, Ted Williams and Joe DiMaggio. And today at the White House, they were honored by President Bush. Of course, it was in 1941 when DiMaggio hit in 56 games in a row and Williams hit 406, the last man to hit over 400. Impressive stats for the president.
Who even now does not marvel at the splendid Splinter and the Yankee Clipper. These genuine heroes thrilled Americans with real deeds. And both on the scene loomed larger than life, the baseball fields and then on to the battlefields.
DiMaggio and Williams were the best 50 years ago, and now we take a look back at the best of the first half of the 1991 season. The top plays, if you will. Here we go now, checking them out. How about the best play by a shortstop? Jeff Hewson of the Rangers. Look at him gunning across the diamond to get his man. How about Joey Cora of the White Sox leaping to pull it down? How about Bip Roberts of the Padres deep in the hole, dives, gets up, and gets his man at first. Let's move to the outfield now. Rex Hudler of the Cardinals, the diving catch. Mike Devereaux literally robbing the home run here over the wall. The Orioles. Brian McRae of the Royals, the shoestring grab in traffic. And Ken Griffey Jr., he had an all-star first half of the season with lots of catches. Play of the year, though, the minor leagues, Rodney McRae in Portland. And that is no question the play of the year so far in baseball. It was in the minor leagues. Evel Knievel, we know that last name, Knievel. Well, now let's take a look at Robbie Knievel this past weekend. Walks like his dad, doesn't he? This weekend in Montana, he jumped Montana's largest casino. Didn't know they gambled there, but nonetheless, here it is, Montana's largest casino, over 140 feet. This jump here, that casino looks kind of like a barn, but I guess that's the way it is in Montana. But anyway, a successful look on off to the golf course there as well, it looked like. But Robbie Knievel, 140-foot jump this weekend in Montana. And that's it in sports.
What a way to travel.
Yes.
Oh, I'll take the bus. Thank you very much. Sports. Talk about your part of the world. Sports transcends the world of fashion. Next up, the hottest, newest Olympic look for men when we come back. Take a look.
Here are 2 refreshing reasons why you should have Arrowhead Mountain Spring water delivered to your home. We'll give you your first 2 bottles of delicious Arrowhead water free if you call 1-800-759-5996 right now. You'll love the taste of Arrowhead's natural mountain spring water and our convenient home delivery. You don't have to be home. We can leave the bottles at your door or wherever you want. Our friendly drivers follow a schedule you can depend on. Your empties will get picked up and you'll always have water when you need it. Pure Arrowhead water for crystal clear ice cubes, deep rich coffee, flavorful tea. Arrowhead, trusted since 1894, wants you to enjoy our pure natural mountain spring water delivered to your home. So we're giving you 2 delicious reasons to call 1-800-759-5996. Arrowhead's cool, clear mountain spring has been around for 1,000,000 years, but this offer won't last that long. Call 1-800-759-5996 right now.
You get chicken, how about sirloin? Grab all the ribs that you can purloin. Be my little barbecue tonight. Any old time, any old weather, we'll start the fire by rubbing up together. Be my little barbecue tonight.
The Black Angus Barbecue Platter. A great deal of steak, chicken, and baby back ribs. Now only $9.95. But get them while they're hot.
Have you seen this? It's Healthline magazine, and it rates Nutrisystem #1 out of 16 popular diet regimens, the only one they gave a perfect score. Does that surprise me? Not at all. They're already #1 with me because only Nutrisystem helped me take off 25 pounds. Come on, give Nutrisystem a call. The only thing you've got to lose, you'll lose.
Now, join Nutrisystem, only $39 for an introductory program. Call 1-800-321-THIN.
Time to rise and shine, fun seekers. Southwest Airlines fun fairs are back.
Well, you've waited so long for a fare to get so nice and low now. You really should fly.
Remember what fares were like before Southwest Airlines? Well, our new fun fares are so low now you can fly just for the fun of it.
Come along with us, 'cause we got a lot of things to do now. You really should fly. And you'll have fun, 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 flying Southwest on a fun fair today. Fun, fun, flying on a fun fair.
Some news items, frankly, are credibility tests, and I think we've got one of those right here. This is a test for the fashion industry. Take a look here. This is what you are going to be wearing if Yves Saint Laurent has his way. He's pushing what he says is a Greek flavor, a Greek warrior flavor, to coincide with the 1992 Olympics. Harold, I can see you in this right now.
Yes,
It's
please
going to
do.
be wonderful. If harem pants turn you on, may we suggest topping them with bolero jackets. And if you've got buttons on your suit coats, try buttoning them all, or at least more than you're accustomed to. Plenty of styles to choose from. Therefore, the bottom line is to, thank goodness, it's America, suit yourself.
I kind of like the Greek look. I don't know how it would go, though, with wingtips and black socks. I'll have to think on that just a little bit. Okay, now from clothing, we turn to an officially endorsed lack of clothing. The 19th annual Ms. Nude and Mr. Nude International Pageants will be held at the Treehouse Fun Ranch in Devore this Saturday and Sunday. The announcement was made today by owners Bill and Fran Flesher. That's right, the Fleshers. Open to the public, clothing optional. Either way, it's casual.
That's one of those wonderful understatements, casual. Whole segment on threads and no threads.
No
That's
threads.
it for us.
Bare
Wrapped
threads.
up here on the 4 o'clock news. Handed over to the 5 o'clock team now, Paul and Ann.
All right, you two, thank you. A lot to do here at 5 o'clock. Coming up on Eyewitness News at 5, the Christopher Commission releases its long-awaited report on the LAPD and makes some shocking recommendations.
Panel calls on Chief Gates to step down, and the chief will talk about whether he stays or goes.
An officer is fired after another police beating is captured on videotape.
And cleanup begins on the home of the pack rat as the family finally moves out.
And the zoo in San Diego has a rare reptile, a two-headed snake.
Plus, you will be able to see the eclipse from right here in the Southland, and Charmaine Wilkerson has a special report. Stay with us for all the news.
Next on Eyewitness News, #1 in Southern California.
and get a hot deal on a Domino's Pepperoni Pizza Feast. Packed with pepperoni and loaded with cheese. Call Domino's now and get a medium pepperoni pizza feast for only $8.99 and get another one for only $4 more.
In naming the Maxima one of their top cars, Car and Driver, Road and Track, and Automobile wrote close to 10,000 words of praise. But since a picture is worth 1,000 words, read this. The Nissan Maximas start under $20,000. Test drive one today.
KABC TV Channel 7 welcomes Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus to Long Beach, LA, and Anaheim. Tickets at the box office and Ticketmaster.
Number 1 in Southern California, Channel 7 KABC TV, Los Angeles. Now, Paul Moyer, Ann Martin, Johnny Mountain Weather, and Jim Hill Sports. When news happens, you see it happen on Eyewitness News at 5.